You get for can know all written the happen at the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. And at this time, once again, I welcome the Minister, Dr. Turad Senesie. Once more, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, it's up to you. Good morning, 98. Good morning, Sally.
Okay, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning gets the mandate for effectively and sustainably manage and administer the most important natural assets of the country when are the land resources. Well, things that we get for do with land in terms of how people they obtain land and other thing them now this and more now some of the mandate of the ministry, how the ministry don't they do the work for ensure say they live up to the mandate as it is expected of the public. That they easily get to minister now for no changes and other things that they don't do for improve all land related issue. Mr. Minister, we want to say at this time congratulations for your retainment. I think from where you get your retainment appointments, now the first thing is where they get you.
Sure.
Okay, so congratulations on that, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so we come with somebody they about the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning for a long time. Waiting you do up. When are the things that we for come now people in mind?
When I'm from USA we don't come out, and USA would do so. Now we need for also look at USA will come out in terms of before now. Everywhere na say where you go, you see confusion in the Ministry of Lands here and there. There are problems here and there. What we don't do is that we don't work assiduously for meet the expectations of the public by making sure that there is some sanity, tranquility, quietness in the land sector. And I think we don't do that achieve it to a greater extent. That is one. Secondly, we don't also improve immensely on revenue generation. Because if you look at the ministry in one sector, we have for help government for make sure we generate enough revenue for help government for support the social services. So I think the most important is that we don't improve immensely on revenue generation at the sector.
Okay, we talk about improving that area. The people would wonder for knowing the strategy them with the ministry and the team put together for improve on revenue generation.
Well, maybe before I come to that question, the public might want to know who is to say don't improve on revenue. What's not the baseline and what's on the. Then maybe from there, I will be able now tell with exactly what don't they do for make sure we improve on that revenue generation. I will just take some basic statistics, present some basic statistics. 2018, if you look at 2018, annual revenue we been generated was about 601,854,000. That was for the whole annual. That is 2018. 2019, we improved on that as a government. We moved to 6.6 million leones. 2020, we moved again small to 7.8 million leones. 2021, we'll go 11.3 million leones. Then, of course, 2022, we'll go for make sure we'll jump a bit again. We'll make 19 points, not 2 million, that are new leones, but if not the old leones are 19.3 billion leones, from 11 billion to 19.3 billion leones inside 2022. 2023, January to August, we don't already raise about 38.9 billion. I shall say that in August, if we don't reach 40 billion now. So you see, the ministry move from 601 million annual revenue generated to what you get now when 38.9 billion just from January to August. So you see, we don't improve immensely on revenue generation for the country. And then the question now is, we ask, which are the strategies that we don't put in place? The strategies that we don't put in place is that, as I can always say in this program, for change people and, their way of doing things, and a lot of orientation. They take you, the leader, for make sure say people understand what are the vision. So over the period, we don't do a lot of training, we don't do a lot of orientation, and not only that, we don't also make sure say the fiscal discipline among the staff don't really improve. We not only do that, we also make sure say again some other revenue streams then we not been the we not be push very hard. We don't make sure say we don't bring account to reality such as regularization. Now they pay fees for that, and we don't also introduce service plots where we also on a direct sale to members of the public. So we don't make sure say we don't really improve on all of them and introduce a new revenue streams. Before now, it was just like survey bills. you pay lease rent, freehold, etc., building permits. And the question of building permits still will get problem because all over the cities in Sierra Leone, including the western area, about just 10% will they collect for now. The challenges are there, but again, we can put in place some other strategies for make sure, say, we generate more revenue. So, okay. Yeah.
You mentioned about training and orientation for workmen them the ministry. Basically, which area so on me give them training and orientation on?
Well, one of the things that we will try to do, one, for let them understand exactly the basic laws will govern land acquisition, land administration, land management. Then basic things that we involve in terms of monitoring building permits, especially in the cities. So we don't do a lot of that. Then not only that, first it take you a long time for let able for produce survey plans. We don't go digital with that. Now we get a consultant with Dr. Alfred Bokari. They don't do a lot of training with the staff for them for make sure say now we produce now the survey plans in a digital form rather than they use them pen and pencil with this that for doing things. So we don't do a lot of training in these areas, and then of course even in terms of monitoring the communities with respect to building permits, adherence to building permits for construction and whatever. We don't improve on that. So I think that don't make we don't improve on the revenue generation.
So, Mr. Minister, in the area of the revenue generation, I mean, when are the source of the collection, the actual through which means different in the way people pay for way camper accessibility to land?
Yes, as I say, building permit is one way. We still a struggle with them. If you look at the entire western area, I don't think so. We don't even exceed 10% in terms of collecting building permits. The challenges are there, but as a government, we try for also look into those challenges and see what we could do. Because no sooner we don't able to get more manpower, we don't get more mobility, we're able to generate a lot more in that area. So then one source. Okay. Lease rent is another source. Freehold is another source, as I say. Regularization is another. But then, waiting make them money, they can now, they don't jump from 601 million leones to about 38 billion just from January this year to August, is that the human contact will not reduce them drastically. So now nobody they handle money matters. It goes directly now into the consolidated fund. And not only that, the question of even transferring files from one office or one desk to the other is no more the case. Now, you the license surveyor, you can even now use your phone. What's now Android? You snap your survey plan and all other documents. You go now with app. There is an app now they use. You go there, you upload everything. No sooner you don't upload that, everything they fall now to the front desk. The front desk officers, and then they when are then three. One day they handle building permits, the other one they handle lease rents, the other one they handle what do you call it now, regularization, etc. So it land directly at their own desk. Na their own desk, na then laptop or land na then telephone then. From there then they check now and verify the relevant document. If na building permit, there are certain documents that we for attach, then they verify that. If na for lease rent, there are certain documents we for attach, then verify that. No sooner that is done, the next thing na for make sure say them push them. When them push it, they go to the various directorates that wait for check, like Directorate of Surveys and Lands, Directorate of Country Planning, Directorate of Housing, then get their own job where they for do. So the question of files they jump now from one table to the other is no more the case in the Ministry of Lands.
So there's no room for any kind of things where people can describe as UK at the Ministry of Lands?
Well, now that will reduce now drastically, and the question of this person file loss, this person in file loss, or this document, no, that is not the case anymore. We make sure say everything now is digitized, the processes are digitized. So ultimately, it will lead to a situation where revenue is paid directly into the consolidated. So now you go use your phone, you transfer the money, you use AfriCell money or you use Orange money or SimCorp or then call it. You now pay directly, if not building permit, you pay directly into the consolidated fund. So you don't need for come, they work out here and there, they run here and there for going to bank here and there or run out of people and for do your payment. No, that's not the case anymore. So now you can use your phone, you pay directly.
Okay, you mentioned about building permits, lease rent. We know some of the things that we increase the revenue generation, now the Ministry of Land. So almost people can pay for a building permit or lease rent.
Well, now you want for construct a house. You want to do a fence. You want to do some repairs to your infrastructure. For let you do all of that, you get for make sure say you obtain a building permit. The reasons are too many. One, for let ensure we being really absent. For let ensure say you not deface the community outlook. That is one. Secondly, whether the land itself is suitable for that type of construction. So those are the things that we will try for do for make sure say we reduce some of the dangers we go occur in future if you not adhere to the building regulations. Those are the things that we try for do right now.
So our corporation don't tell in terms to the public with the Canada ministry.
Well, the challenges are there still because one, people are not used for the pay building permits, for the obtain building permit before they construct. The challenges are still there. But what we try for do now is to make sure that once we get enough resources as a government we try for put together in terms of manpower, because currently what we don't do, we don't split the western region to be precise and even the other district headquarter towns into zones. No sooner we don't get enough manpower, we deploy them into those zones for the monitor, not to for go fete anybody, but if you rebuild without a building permit, there is also a fine for that. Then headquarters must be informed, and then of course we request the assistance of the police for effect arrest and make sure we prosecute. And we don't prosecute also. So the challenges are there, but then of course some other people and they will also they cooperate very well because they know saying it's statutory responsibility for obtaining the building permit before you do anything on the land.
All right. So what about the community them we already don't get building all over, even roads self for go now some side and not day. Within the ministry don't they do towards that?
Well, then the other thing we people also not get much information about. I will use this opportunity to inform the people of Sierra Leone that the only ministry or the only institution we're responsible for planning is the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. That's a statutory responsibility. So let us take, for example, say you don't build an access road. You say you don't buy the land. You don't buy the land, but if we in the ministry believe, say, this one, they also disadvantage other members of the community, we get the responsibility for make sure so we create access. So even when you don't buy the land, we can tell you, say, yes, now you own the land, but then the wider or the bigger the benefits to the community supersede your individual interest. So if you're on the access road, we can pull out who's the common on the access road and make sure, say, the entire community they benefit. Okay. So those are the things that we can always do.
Mr. Minister, what other important thing you can wake up on the Ministry of Lands or any land related issue and the issue of land grabbing? And most time we can see people where they into the contention and everybody they claim saying that they get this land, everybody they prove a document, but we're going to the ministry on a such case or issue as a land grabbing. Throw more highlights on that particular issue, the wake up and land grabbing.
Well, you see, we put a lot of documents together we want for take to the public, and then when they take to the public, we make sure say we name the individuals and provide documentary evidence for make sure say we tell the public how the extent to which the land grabbing is really affected. I'll give you some examples. Take place like Tuke. If you take Tuke, somebody they were in a Tuke. I'm not going to name the name now because we try for still put a lot more, but we don't get enough evidence. Somebody in Atuke, they claim 200 acres of land. The document we get, they talk about 1990, when a fake document on LS 125490, with this person here, so they claim 200 acres in Atuke in one green. And when you look at that document, you're going to say that LS 125490. Now, LS number for a property within a different location. Right. So interesting. The same token, somebody is claiming 335 acres of land on LS number 231376. That's 1976. Now you say you get that property there. 335 acres in Western area.
So, Mr. Minister,
you're right. Let's just end this, please. Okay. I'm sorry. When you look LS 231376, now LS number for a different property in a different location. So what in this they try for tell you about? John Obe 85 acres, LS 261385. Then in 1985 we say obtain this one in one grade 85 acres inside the Western area. The LS number 261385. Now LS number for a different property in a different location. But then the question is this: how they get the LS number here? Whether they tell you say something fundamentally was wrong in the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. There must have been some conspiracy along the lines with some people giving these LS numbers, with some of them people here, or working connivance with some of them people here, they take the LS numbers here. But when you go into the system, you check them thoroughly, you realize these are different properties with this LS number, but then the user again, they prepare another document, somebody get her, and they go up and down, they don't go claim the land, and they go sell and give individuals, they make profit.
So in this kind of situation, the fault lies on who exactly? Some people within at the ministry or the individual level?
Both.
Side?
Members of the public, because in some of, all these are conspiracies. Members of the public, and then you also have people also from the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, and most of the people in this some are now on suspension.
So apart from this context, for example, we don't get in what una can look at we make una refer to somebody as a land grabber.
Well, when your LS number,
okay,
where they on your document is falsified, and they will not prove and for say this LS number, not for this property, the genuine owner day of this LS number, where again your own document, then definitely you are a land grabber. In a thief state land for your own profit. And the unfortunate thing about it all is that you are depriving the whole nation. They deprive a whole nation. They fight for land is so much across the country that people and they will in need of land, but somebody don't go deprive them of that land. And the second aspect of that is that, as I don't say just now, you imagine 2018, a whole annual returns on land transaction was about 600 million leones. In 2023, January to just August, we were able to raise 38 billion. This include land they would allocate where people and they pay lease rent for. So you see, say, if you want to give land to ordinary Sierra Leoneans, we talk say, okay, you pay your lease rent of 2.5 million for 3 years, thereafter you get a freehold. You see, say, we don't give enough people them. If you just allow me again, I will give statistics with respect to land who don't just give like for this year.
You listen to a early show, get for the location, taking people from one side to another, and also you're one of you assistant director of survey at the Ministry of Lands. So we give them people a word of assurance, so they go relocate them soon. On that particular issue, what you get for say?
Let's start by making this very clear. In the first place, the statements by the assistant director, that one is supposed to be a policy statement, and that statement not supposed to come from him, which is wrong. And I think I will ask for an administrative action when I get back to the office. Such statements must only come from either the minister or the director of surveys and lands or the permanent secretary. So he has no business to make such a statement in the public with respect to allocation or relocation. That's not his business. That is one. Secondly, the land itself, where the people in the top box who said they can go occupy, that's a state land. That's not a private property. It is a state land, and in the first place, there's not any reason for go, if it's stay there or squat there, or they in connivance with anybody for let them go allocate their lands and they to them. That is two. Thirdly, you see, the public interest will always supersede the individual interest. The land was identified to be a suitable location for the expansion of the Guma Dam, where the water where they go put there, it will benefit the wider community. So for let you say you don't go stay there, and now you're right. No, it's not your right. And even the compensation where they may do, that one was done just because we in our government will give with action a human face. But that's not their right. And that one was established. They know that one. So in terms of relocation, if government even take the decision and say we are going to relocate you, it is not a question of your choice now. It's a question of what is available, not to your own choice. Who's that land available? Now they then go carry you go, then they go show you in the western area. But then you have already received compensation. So this question of, people and your individual rights, then they want for take for let it supersede the general interest of the state.
So
that is wrong.
So this particular issue, according to you, that person did not get the right authority. So the word we don't give the people and one will not go stand on the
No, he has no business even making those statements. He has no business promising the people. It is the responsibility of the policy maker, that's the minister, or a team when at the top management. These ones are junior workers.
Right. So what's it for doing in relation to that? If junior, colleague go na any place where you go meet issue, what's in the root way for follow?
His responsibility is to refer to an immediate supervisor, an immediate boss, and not to pose in the public as if he has the authority. These are the things that they talk about, the way we and inherit the ministry. That everybody feel too big. That he can make statements any day, he take action any day. It go against the policy drive of the ministry, and at the same time, you might even end up deceiving the public. And guess what? That burden they can to the minister in head. You understand? You become funny in public. But as I say, I'm not going to that on the radio here. We'll take some action. But again, like I get to the one where they ask for relocation. We always, as a government, when they think about the welfare of the people, think about them. We will always do them. And what they do? We will do for make sure, say, the general good of Sierra Leoneans, when I force to prioritize. So, they relocate or they relocate, if they relocate it at all. We are taking that action to be a human face we are giving to our action. But then, as I say, compensation has been done. So, any other extra, we are doing it for make sure, say, then self not feel bad. But I'll give you something, some just quick information. When they talk, say, the place far. Now, if you take the land space in Freetown, Western area, is 138,000 acres. Now get inside Western area. That's what we have. Now guess what? The total population, 16.8% of the overall population of Sierra Leone is occupying this Western area, where the total land area in Sierra Leone, compared to what is in the Western area is just about 1% of the total population, the total land area of Sierra Leone. Then you have 16.8% of people occupying this Western area. So that they tell you now clearly, say the land itself is scarce in Sierra Leone,
right,
and in Western area to be precise. Land not there beaucoup, land not available, especially in the urban center. Land not there anymore.
Right.
So if we relocate people, we go for relocating now outside Freetown, we'll take you good to the peninsula. That's what we do.
All right. Now, we all know, say, everybody now, wants, small land, those science go able build, small house. So if somebody want land, within the process and procedure way for Fala, for let the ministry, offer.
Now you go to the portal. You go to the portal now, where you apply. As you apply at the portal, because also you get certain documents already attached, like your passport photo, your name or whatever, national ID. You have to attach all of those. You go to the portal, where you see you don't fill them, you attach all that and then you push submit. And they go to the front desk. The front desk, where they open their computers, they open their phones and then go see and they. From there, they check for them documents and they, from there, then approve. Say yes, the documents are all we needed, they are attached. Once that is done, they come directly to the permanent secretary. The permanent secretary said verify. They push on to me for say these ones, the documents are okay. From there, once I don't see them, he said don't verify, say those documents are they push and now go to the allocation committee. The allocation committee, that application, they all, right now if I open my portal, you go see them. The application, they go there at the allocation committee, their own portal. Now they. When once land is available, we don't get lands on site, we don't make sure so we don't lay out and find who say road for the total number of plots, they don't do the statistics is there. When once that is done, the next thing is then they inform me now, say land is available, they are given to go ahead. I say we want to do allocation. So as in they can as when they do the allocation. As in they can as when they do the allocation. So now we have statistics of all allocations that we do in the ministry year in, year out. That is what we are now doing.
All right. So, Mr. Minister, how you done the monitor for make sure say people where they apply, the one that within at the ministry not puts their own interest, into the work.
Well, it's simple.
People where they apply for land.
It's simple as I tell you. If you go exactly to the portal, you go see say the way they can so they allocate. They will take somebody from other side you bring up.
No, because sometimes somebody go apply, you go say, okay, this time in your post you don't apply. La fast track in your done.
And then they work anymore. And then they work anymore because the human touch is not there anymore. When once you don't push into the committee, that committee level, if I show you now, you see now say this is my own desk. You see up to yesterday, if you see here now, you go see say I approve 144 files we can directly. So wherever I did at the wall now, whether I did at my office or not, I able to work directly. Now there are 69 files we don't already go through the portal a day or so now. So immediately I come on now, so I go for sit down any side, I go work from there. So to the way you go to my office, you meet file and pack now, so high, no, you need meter anymore. That's not the case anymore.
So as of now, almost landing when I don't give to people.
We don't give over from 2021 to now, we don't give over 7,000 land who don't spread across all they give to people, including the raffle winners. This is what we are doing. So they now see say the fight over land business inside Freetown, it don't reduce drastically because more people now they get access to land. More people they get access to land. So that is what is happening currently in the Western area.
So, Mr. Minister, the issue of land ownership or citizen a right to land. Now, one way majority citizens are conscious about. You can just see somebody say, "Na me get this land, na me people left and give me," and all of that. So, in your words, who that exactly get a land?
In the Western area, our government get land, and the states, because this is a crown colony. So, if you get land, you don't talk say you get 300 acres. The title to that land must come from the crown. You know, I get a friend who is a cabinet minister. Currently, a cabinet minister. He been get some land somewhere. So, if one gets a loan from the bank for go do some development on that land. So, now he apply, now the bank send for verification from the ministry. For law we verify, for proof say that land is authentic. We can realize say the land where they claim so in the first place, the root of title now a fake one. So we sent that report to the bank. So we go, now the bank tell us, and say no. The root of title is not coming from the crown, from the state. So this one was falsified. So we can't give you the loan. Now NSSA kind of office now can't tell me. What you go discover. He said, so this year where they talk about land grabbing, land here and there. He said, now I don't know what the reality and what the negative impact. Now I explain, tell me. I said, when I this, we tell people that when they don't believe. People when they find out, then just they go to people and then go buy. Then just they go buy because themselves no one for do the right thing. And then they aid and abet also the land grabbers for make profit out of their misfortune. You imagine we are leasing the land for 2.5 million in the Western area and some areas then 2 million. Right? This one they can directly inside the consolidated fund. You imagine the revenue don't just generate this year. January to August, 38 billion. So that money they go directly into the consolidated fund. Government they use it for buy drugs and put another hospital. Government they use it for make sure they will support the schools. Government they use it for make sure they will do the roads. Government they use it for make sure they will get water supply. When are the general public, the general populace of Sierra Leone and they benefit from that rather than individual they go take car, they sell like buy motor car, a buy hose, they make like say na Inge Freetown.
So, but we look at all the issue of people will be victim of land.
So it looks funny.
And they still go back to the Ministry of Lands because most of them people they get documented authentic from the Ministry of Lands. I mean, the reason of some bad survey or zombie always the excuse, the explanation from the Ministry of Lands. How you don't try for correct that?
When the only way we're able for correct and now don't start to now we go digital. Because when you go digital, you solve most of them. Look, let me tell you something. John Obe, 455 acres on LS number 1658, 1973. 90 sports is in Angela Landy. John Obe, 455 acres. This is now a different property, now different location. So this person they use this survey plan from 1973 survey plan, and they use them, they sell their land there, they make huge money. They go sell 1,000 lots, sometimes 40 million loans.
How I can discover them people I say they own a lot of land when
when they come, where they could don't go, this be thing because we are so rigid. Where they sell because when they sell to other person, you attach your root of title. So then root of title, and then now they check now inside the system. I didn't know don't begin catch them. They all names and then also all day inside this my computer so. So as they say, we they try for because we get more. Thereafter, we are calling a press conference. We will go name the people and let them go court.
All right. Now, for me explanation, Mr. Minister, that shows you get people in the ministry with it and yuki. So under your leadership, what you don't do now for make sure say them people are with connive with other people forget a huge number of lands in a different part them. You actually tap them.
Well, we institute disciplinary action against another one. Secondly, most of them people also now they get for be limited in the sense that we are now going digital. Because now you go digital. You get for limit now some of them kind of behavior they ask you. Because one, the record system, who they try for set up, not to everybody get access to it anymore. It has to be people with credibility. And even when you go to the back end, you need to get access to the back end.
Because I just want to ask how secure this system
it is secured, and not only that, whenever you log onto the system, you have to log on to that system. The date, the time is going to be logged on also. So whenever anything happens, they will know.
Right.
Like when if you use your SIM couple, if you pay to the account with respect to a particular transaction at the ministry, when we go to the back end, are they able to know when exactly you pay, the date and the time, are they able to know, and who is that person?
So even though that system they wait in a through digital registration or application, another view they say what of people were not getting know how access excuse me, we not already know how access for go through such means for apply for land. We not the next option I create for them.
No, there is no way we not get the know-how, because a licensed surveyor for private property, you need a licensed surveyor. For state property, you need a government land surveyor. And there, if I find it simple, because we know the processor at the ministry. So you, when let's say you know ever go school, but you licensed surveyor there, and the licensed surveyors there, they don't already train them also. All licensed surveyors now this country has so now the Ministry of Lands and they give them
how
license.
the person gonna say this support saying that the legal license surveyor, because when you look at the issue of the so many issues with the around land, some of them surveyor then are the main factor.
Yes. So now if you go to the website, all the licensed surveyors, all people, all individuals will get the background, they don't train them when a licensed surveyor, then in a website. So anybody who can to you, it can't tell you saying a licensed surveyor. If you want with a cross-check with the ministry also, if you need to go to the website. You can't with the people in particular, they will tell you, say, this one I qualify license surveyor. Otherwise, you don't get no reason for doing any business with them.
Okay, well.
And then not only that, very soon, maybe this week to next week, if somebody go now you land or you go now you host, they say they come from the Ministry of Lands, you go begin see a different attire when they put on. And that attire they all get code. That code they within in chest and that close day, you go see and say also again ID card. That code day for the day.
Okay.
And that code they show whose directorate way it day. If na surveys it day, if na housing it day, if na planning it day, they all get code them. So if somebody go now you land, they go do any activity they take that one. If you are not satisfied with whatever he's doing there, just snap that where they call. If you know what I'm doing, snap him, you report them to, because for make sure so you get access to an ID card and that code they within in chest and back.
Mr. Minister, you don't highlight on revenue generation, land grabbing, application of land, and another one them. Now, another important issue that they all get to do with land tax. Take will listen and view them through this particular area.
Well, thank you again. You see, 2015 land policy, they recommend certain things into government for let government do and for make land much viable to Sierra Leoneans and use the land resources for redeem the economy. And one such recommendation was the establishment of the National Land Commission for Sierra Leone for effective and efficient management of land transactions in Sierra Leone. We don't already establish that. That will be one of the recommendations of the 2015 land policy. We don't also, the same policy be recommended again for the customary land rights. That one also, we don't already do that one also. And that we don't pass that act in a law now in Sierra Leone. Then the same 2015 policy be recommend for the establishment of land information system and title registration. We now get the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project where they try to do all of this, support all of this for establishing in Sierra Leone. Another recommendation which has been very key in that policy document was the introduction of land tax for revenue generation for government and to support investment. Now that one they don't left in the reviews of the laws. So then 5 key recommendations from 2015, we only able for begin implement all of these. And we don't take over from 2018 to date. Now we don't establish the National Land Commission. We don't pass the Customary Land Rights Act. We don't get money now for establish the land information system and the title registration, which is ongoing. So 2 of them recommendations and then we don't left. The introduction of land tax for revenue generation for government and support investment and then the review of laws. So the 2 we don't left, now they try for push. But let's just wait and call. 2015, when these policy recommendations were made, for some people, they be refused for let them pursue them because they think say maybe we be minister, if you pursue them here, you take away your own authority. But taking away your authority not necessarily means say you are losing your value. What is important is what goes to Sierra Leone that is going to be the general benefit. So I think that is it. So as a government, that is what we have been pushing. So now, the next phase now is the introduction of land tax for revenue generation. If you sit down inside motorcar from here, you go upline, you see say road infrastructure don't improve. Both ends of the roads, you go see say too much land there where people don't need to use at all. There's so the idle, the land they for use for agriculture, for use for manufacturing, etc. So those lands are there. But then no sooner you don't come in, you want make like say you want go do agriculture here and there. So and then, I mean, with all respect to our people, or some people, they go charge you like say that land they don't put on school, or they don't can't go to a clinic, then they get medicine here and there. So it don't they drive away lots and lots of investors in Sierra Leone. As a result, we have not been able to move forward because we are not making use of the land resources effectively and efficiently. So the one that we've been reviewing this policy here, they may see a lot of justification why there should be land tax. Because if there is land tax, now you are shifting the one we get if you talk say you are going to pay 10 leones as land tax for 1 acre of land. Then if somebody come and say it will give you 15 leones for let you utilize that land tax, then you don't know say yes, at the end of the year you are paying 10 leones to government as land tax, then 5 leones they come to you, but then somebody also they use that land day, maybe it do large scale agriculture, it provide employment, it provide also revenue for government in terms of other taxes and other things. So by so doing, you are moving the state, but that will not be done embark on that yet. And we are going to make sure that we begin the discussions for make sure say we introduce the land tax in Sierra Leone. But I'll tell you something, very important also. Now, if you take Sierra Leone, to be precise, you will see we get 17,730,000 acres of land in Sierra Leone. That is what we have.
All over.
All over Sierra Leone. 17,730,000 acres. Now, don't talk say we just target 13 million acres of land. If we target 13 million acres of land, the law say you are paying just 50,000 leones for 1 acre across the country. You talk about 6.5 trillion leones that you go generate from the land resources in Sierra Leone. Now, 6.5 trillion leones go give you about $289.2 million. Guess what? Our wages and salaries annually for Sierra Leone, for all public and public sector workers and civil servants, is about $240 million annually. That's what we need for low able for pay with public sector workers, civil servants and public servants. That's what we need, 240. But if you use just 13 million acres of land, then you say, okay, just pay 50,000 leones for 1 acre of land, just 50,000. Nobody will talk say nobody will do that if you do investment on the land. We would only raise 6.5 trillion. When you convert it into dollars, you'll have $289 million. So you are able to pay your wages and salaries annually just using land tax with no resort to donor support in terms of budgetary support for that. So when you don't do that, you reduce the dependence on donor support in Sierra Leone. You reduce that this question of we depend on outsiders for take care of responsibility as Sierra Leoneans. We are going to reduce that. When they become independent, we can take our decisions without making reference to anybody. If anybody comes from outside, we are now talking as equals. Then we will make sure we do business together for mutual benefit, rather than they can't dictate to us. So introducing the land tax, they get that kind of benefit that is going to support the budgetary implications or commitments of government and make the country very much stable. I mean, in terms of business transaction.
Continue for the routine inside the program, Mr. Minister.
I will just just roll out some of the benefits quickly so that we will not lose that trend.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Please. Right. So you reduce the donor dependence. That is one. Secondly, also, you are going to encourage investment. Because somebody they can away go to the community and know say the land tax na this. So the person where they also na the provinces where know say where they get their land, they know exactly what he go ask for, when the person says they go accept. Because the person knows what he go pay for land tax. So you can't exploit somebody unnecessarily or the landlord and not into use. So it is going to promote investment, especially for agriculture and manufacturing. And when you promote that one, the other effect you get is that you are going to create more jobs in those communities. So you don't get idlers in other communities. You are going to bring more wealth to the community. So you are going to move Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is going to move. You increase employment opportunities, skills training is going to be enhanced in those communities. Then above all, I'll take the Western area. You are going to curb land grabbing. Somebody wants to say he gets 300 acres. We can't put to regulations. You get 300 acres. In fact, if you say you get that ending, if me sit down under the seat, me continue for sit down under the seat as minister. If you say you get 300 acres of land inside Western area, I need to talk nothing. Go bring your document card. We bring a rubber stamp. Rubber stamp, and then we'll now introduce now land tax on it. So where you have 300 acres, there's a we don't talk say, okay, inside Western area for one town lot, you are paying land tax of 250,000 or 500,000. Now you say go first for let you distribute the land and they let it come on your hand. So more people are going to also have access to land. Right. And we generate more revenue for the...
Over to you, Mr. Senesie. Before we go for a break, if you talk about a land tax, where you say this and something and the plan for introduce. But another view, they say coming with a land tax can be another burden of people, and we call already other fees in the way people that they pay, we can by owning a land or accessibility to land.
Well, that make we not just want for just car with the land tax, we want for blender with the review of the relevant laws. So when once we do that, we make sure say some other things and they will get for pull off. Because the land tax get for being an annual, and not get for being a way that way in other associated costs enough for there at all. I mean, when once that is done, let us say, it is annual. So by December 30, 31st, all that money they go don't pay. You don't have any other associated cost. So that money they go all kinds of government coffers. Now government knows say, now this quantum of money don't come up from land tax. It is a special account. So you can now use that say, okay, this particular area no get hospital. We don't use this money and we put hospital there. This other districts, now chiefdom, they not get hospitals, they not get schools. No use this money. There is already readily available money for undertaking that kind of projects in there. So the policy recommendation, they say, once you are able to put together all of those documents, all of those monies, then you can now undertake now capital projects where they benefit the Sierra Leonean populace rather than individuals no more, and they take the land, they go sell them. So those are the things that we want for also do.
Mr. Mesa, there's this issue about where some people get if you say, they pay much attention to private land documents.
When they sign up, they mean?
Like, they pay much, whether it gets for do signing, reviewing, or going through it.
Yeah, two things go be no, nobody no talks and they pay attention to that. And they look everything, and will not ever stop the signing of private land documents. The next time while they come at the studio, and not can't today with that statistics, I will come with that statistics for sure the public say we are signing. What they happen is the private surveyors, they have problems. Sometimes we'll reject the document. Will they put the reason why we reject that document? Maybe this other document, if we attach, you not attach them. Maybe the title, root of title is not attached. Maybe your payment slip is not attached. So okay, ask them, say, una go attachment here, they're knocking do them on time, but rather then they tell now the client say, no, now the minister, I need a sign. We are signing. We have never stopped private. The only time we will stop down themselves now been state land. Now the tell I just take over because of the problems will be inside the ministry. So we go for suspend and default. But even during that period, private survey plans will sign right through. And up to this moment, we are signing. We will only reject when the title, the root of title, is not appropriate. Whether maybe it is falsified, like some of them here where they see so. Sometimes that route they come up from some of them forged documents here. If you don't come up from them falsified documents there, so we then go forge people. Like last week, we catch one.
One who that surveyor?
One person, one document we then submit. I don't ask the director of surveys for let them prosecute, let them report them. They forge my signature and the stamp where they use. But the stamp where they use, there is something where they on that stamp. Now only me and the one where we make the stamp. Now who said that secretly? The one. So if any other person go get them, the one we been do the stamp. Now I go take go to court. So then use me stamp. They use stamp. When they don't go court, when I'm use stamp where they use a fibaram, they go put on it. Then they forge me signature. Tamba detector and I bring to me. Say minister, I say I doubt something. He said the signature not fiba his signature. I say but sometimes you be there in a hurry. I say last year. Now look, I say okay last year I been there in a hurry. I say wait till I check now the stamp. Now I check the stamp. Now I look inside that small corner the we don't keep. When I mean no more no well I look at that I say it's not to be stamp this one. Now I take my stamp. Now I put on here there. Now I put up what they call. I say see this stamp. I say not to me. I say you say wait team up so I need to show you. We go to court now I go show people like what's the difference.
So with all
so then thing they happen where if the documents are fake we go reject them.
So it means that with all the rigid measure how you try to get them ad you still get some bad eggs.
They are there in the public. You know, this land business, now a cartel, they don't in this country. So you get too many players. Too many players, and they wouldn't get interest. So when you say, no, let us do it in the interest of the states, you don't get Boko enemies. You don't get too many resistance. The resistance is there. But I'm not going to budge. So as they say, they think above them.
All right. Okay, so
and they sit down on my desk, they think about the strategies. What do I do to make sure that, we'll take them at the corner and they're not overshadow we at all in terms of our ambition.
So we see some time back there was a joint venture agreement between the government of Salone through your ministry with Staff African Global Limited. Give a listener view them an update.
A far advanced, they don't already establish the office now at Salone. In fact, if you visit the office, you will see the prototype of the kind of city where then they can for establish. It is there. The CEO is here. They are working assiduously. By next month, October, with the intent for go turn the sword, take the president for go with and call, is going to move as fast as possible. We did at the top of it all. And that other one, and they would say they come forward. But the thing is, something when they come forward, we ask them for proof of funding, it becomes a problem. They want for use the land, the whole land, they then go now out, go begin to scout for money. I mean, I need to agree. Because when you hold them, other people will deprive them. So when you can say, no, bring proof of fund, then we will go now into agreement, argue the land. Otherwise, no way.
All right. Before we go for Wakabot, quick one. Somebody say, waiting at the time frame we want to take for sign private document.
Private documents, I think, would go now for, because they can take them 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but I think it's about 72 hours now maximum, because they go for visit the sites for make sure so they verify. They then also look at the document because they go for check inside the system. Like all the old documents that we get, when our records we then call right now the directories of surveys and plans, and they put all now into the electronic form. So now it become easier. When once we don't do that, we anchor again on this portal. So it becomes very easy now for able to verify the plans quickly, and we sign the plans. So we are improving on the turnaround time gradually.
Continue for the with me inside the program. In name now, Dr. Turad Senesie, Minister of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. I said there this morning for talk about things that we don't happen now the lands ministry. We go for Akabot. We'll continue the program. Good morning, Salon.
Another morning again. I say Tuesday, man. I say Tuesday. I say, you know that company where they regulate the one them where they do right. I say, they can't keep meeting at the area where they man. They ask me question. I say, then they ask the this China where they say one for put increment for the can couple. In fact, then they speak and then call and tariff. Natabo, Nakopo, Bone Wallet. Nine they say, how ye team for other, but what you think? Now say, I say, we the people then at this country who think say, for other would all used to. But waiting will not go like now all the art, then the light we not see. It not go good I say it not go good. And now you find yourself with light today, and they no say me money what they pay for something, and they see but it not go good if increments don't dey. Meter don dey, credit dey, the lights no dey. 90% jot am, say e don take and don not say correct. I say gidibo, gidibo, gidibo. I say gidibo, gidibo. I say gidibo, gidibo. I say gidibo for the mayor dancing mayor bo. I say gidibo for the dancing mayor. I say now as I dey talk to you so you can pass na the Hill Court Road. You know they get let's do the same line for go up and come down. I say now. I say, dancing mayor don't arrange that one day. I say, dancing mayor used to the call man, they listen to the call. Now look, I say, now so like bo, move away from politics and do the work we know you for. Oh yes. I say, but the other one then think how you go continue them. Oh yes, at that time day, if you want several meal, you go na the dancing floor, no problem. I say Minister of Labor, I say money, no, I say money. I say how you do over there. I say all of us go then. I don't begin to figure them. I don't begin to figure them. 500,000 job initiative. $100 million. Now then can figure out to make my relax fine and say, okay, things they can turn around for the youth them because Labor Minister gets this, so now this don't come out the idea initiative put together, now this not the way forward. But I just they take pen, I take paper, at this they mark the figure them, at this they mark again, the cash they way for inside. Hey, at looking at the well-youth man, they no get work. Fambuna person do me attention here one country in Africa. Then have the patent constitutional review. It's now 5 years them been get it, but now then they say no, then they do small, let them make a 7 years. Now me have to make boom because I know say we serve the Congo Power constitutional review. Now they say, if now we ya go do me na Jonah Wakabo.
All right, to the go. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. Still inside the studios, we get the Minister of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, Dr. Turad Senesie. And so therefore talk about them na the ministry. Mr. Minister, I guess yourself don't look at social media and you don't see plenty right up we don't happen na the different newspaper them. Yeah. Firstly, how which you can make up of some of them things there where you can see na them newspaper then.
Well, sometimes I can just smile. I can smile in the sense that all man get a young way how they look at society. Like for example, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, the newspapers they blast me, bombard me here and there, tell me beginning they get worried. They say, Daddy, what is happening? I say, but my friend, go to school.
Any tool there around that?
No, now they try for what they call. Then they write without even cross-checking. What I don't do until one day now, I think say maybe for some reason I text me, say want to talk to me.
Who that text you exactly?
Well, one of the newspapers.
Okay.
So now he say he want to talk to me on some of the issues. I said, well, you come to the office. I said, but you have been publishing. So indeed, where they can with all the other newspapers, they will be on the right. Say Mr. Minister and a land grabber, they take land and they sell land. Now they come. When they come, then some same document they read through. Now I take them. Now I pull and I learn before that. I say, now look this LS. This is a fake document. This LS now for this other property. Now this other location. And this person will sell. Now one of the chiefs said, well, I'm not going to name now, but we'll go for name. They go forge the document. You're not chief. And when you are headman at Western area, your responsibility is people's management and not land management. You go take over 200 acres, 40 acres. You go use that fake document, they sell and get the people in. The land they don't do. People in day, US you don't have this studio, you want 1 town lot, you know you get. The land they don't do. If when we don't go into the archives, we don't know say, but this one is fake. I go take her as Sheba and give Sierra Leoneans where they want the land. Right. So you know go take her. So why I show them all the documents, I don't explain tell them all thing. And they say, well.
All right. Again.
I say, but then, I mean, in the first place, you don't blackmail me. You don't make me begin, I don't get worried. My friends, I don't get worried. As if I'm doing the wrong things. I'm not doing the wrong things. They land there, now the state get them. Somebody go forge document. It begin selling as in your property, 40 acres of land. It is sell and give people like 50 fata, 40 million, 40 million, 40 million. Me they take up. I give Sierra Leoneans go and pay into the consolidated form 2.5 million loans. No use that money there for big schools. No use that money there for support hospital. No use that money there for do roads. Right. So I have no regret doing that because as long as I'm convinced it is owned by the state and you don't go falsify. No, I know left and give.
All right. Who more don't they go around say the director of survey hold 2 positions at the ministry? You are aware of that, sir?
No, I'm not aware of that. I know say he's the director for surveys and lands. And appointments to certain positions. Me na president they appoint me. Where I go under na policy drive. Appointment to positions in the civil service for critical positions na HRMO. Now they own responsibility that. So I have no reason to interfere into that. I can make recommendations, but I am not in position to do those sort of positioning in the ministry. But I have right to provide a policy focus. If the agenda, the political agenda is there, and you, the civil servant, your responsibility is to help me to achieve that policy agenda. If for some reasons you do not have the capacity to deliver, and I have an assignment, and which is time bound, I can step you aside and then get somebody to help me in the same directorate to make sure that I deliver to the people of Sierra Leone. That one I will not wait. I will not consult anybody for that one.
Okay.
But those positioning, those ones are key within the civil service. The civil service will direct that. So if the civil service don't take a decision, they don't talk say Tambana for the social and social position again, I have no reason to reject that.
So meaning
if he can deliver in that particular position, why not?
So meaning you hold them position then they?
Me not know if you hold them position then because I do not have yet the document before me. But if the civil service hierarchy sanctions say this is how it's supposed to be, I have no objection but to go by that. And then if I find out say he cannot deliver in that, then I can get back to the HRMO.
Okay, Mr. Minister, the right to land now something we all citizens forget access to, but owning it for let be a reality now. One, we people they say this not just a right within black and white. In any way ever go be possible for all citizens and get land when at the union?
No sooner we introduce the land tax, it becomes effective. It's going to be easier for all Sierra Leoneans
the land
to access.
available commensurate to the availability of population of the country.
The population of this country is small compared to the land where they. The land boku, I don't tell you say the land no more where they over 17 million. The land where available to this country. What's not the population will get? 7 million.
So one other important issue with all
So if we say self with the talk still let all man get 1 acre, land will still left. But the question is, some people they hold up to themselves, they make sure say other people they not get access to that. So when will they come with them policies, then laws then, and they make sure say more people will get access to the land.
So one other important issue again, we don't hear you don't talk about so many fine ideas and reform them, but people believe say the accessibility and struggle of land still a challenge. You with your team go ever get them right for correct all the wrong then they will still in the Ministry of Lands?
Well, it is not about me and my team, it is about Sierra Leone. As long as Sierra Leoneans are ready to ensure that the God-given rights, we will all get on our land, we all get right to them, and we also enjoy the benefits of that land, I think so we all go do. But waiting on the happen, we make people when they get access to land, now because of greed, selfishness. One great man, like what I tell you, in the Crown Colony, here at Western area, now the state get all the land. You only get as a private property when the root of title emanates from the states, the Crown. You understand? But if you out of greed, selfishness, some people they with the kind of office and go with the car, I go judge, I say no, I can't do this. Other people also need them. You want to not go hold up to yourself. Let other people and get out there 1 town lot, 2 town lots. Why do you want to own 40 acres in the Western area, Crown Colony? Like you always talk, I say it is like you're not Pedroda Center now you can't discover. No, you are not. You are just any ordinary Sierra Leonean. So allow other people to also have access to it. And for let we drive that home, will they come with the laws? It's going to be challenging for people and for let them accept that. There is going to be resistance. I'm fully conscious of that. But then the question is, you say go to your room, you sit down, you think, is it in the interest of Sierra Leone?
So one day the way they speak so hard, people could wonder if Mr. Senesie or somebody would compromise or be influenced by incumbent minister then.
Well, we all know we weaknesses, we know we strengths. Then get your own strength. Mr. get your own strength. We have our weaknesses. But then the question is, what is the general good? So many a time, my decision is based on the general good for Sierra Leone.
So one day be influenced or compromising anyway.
You get confrontation here and there in order for let you make sure you pipe down. But I will tell you, like yesterday, my party come. They don't apply. They don't. It's for a kind of orphanage. It came yesterday. What's happen? A small building and building at the land. They now they want freehold. Now I say no. Let me get evidence of development of on the land. So they go visit and snap and bring account. Look, you have not even developed the land. How can I give you freehold? I said no. I'll give you another 1 year. If it is not done, we will take the land. We'll share and give other people then. You know, go be small thing for 1 town lot out of 2 acres where you don't ask for orphanage. Then you can't ask for freehold. So the purpose is not there. So the question is not a question of, it's a question of you convincing the other colleagues that, this is not right. It is not in the interest of the state.
All right. Plenty thank you for joining me inside the program this morning, Mr. Minister.
Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you to Sierra Leoneans.
Okay.